Hey, it's Kevin. Welcome back to the Road Warrior. I don't know what it's like where you've been, but the last week or two has just been brutal here in Nashville. In fact, the last couple of days have just been simply awful. We've had highs in the upper 90s. In fact, as I drive down the road right now, it's 95 degrees, or at least that's what my car is telling me it is. And it's been stupid hot. The humidity has been horrible. It's kind of had that. There's a threat of rain all the time, which makes it that much worse. And I know if you know weather, it ties into the humidity and all that kind of stuff, but it's just been horrible. And I talked about this in my podcast last week before, I don't remember at this point, where experts, and I use experts in quotation marks, are saying this could be the hottest summer we've had in a long time. Not from in terms of the highest temperatures, but from the longest heat waves. Meaning we could have more 95 plus degree days this summer than we've had perhaps on record. It's hard to say with all that kind of stuff. What's amazing to me is I realize we're going through the climate change. I realize we're going through global warming. But we've had summers like this before. I can't even remember what last summer was like at this point. I mean, that's the funny part. If you don't write down the records, your mind just lets it go. Now, with this car, my Scion, the air conditioning is intermittent. I need to buy a whole new compressor, and I haven't wanted to drop a few $1,000s to do it. So I go without air conditioning. And this is my daily driver, so it's back and forth, but it's not that bad during the day. Plus, my office is very cold. The house is usually fairly cold. Well, not fairly cold, not bad. So when I get in the car, I'm regulated well enough that it doesn't really bother me for the 20-30 minutes I'm in. But when I'm on the road running errands, out and about for, like we were yesterday, 4 or 5 hours during the brutal heat of the day, or if we're on a trip. Now granted, I can keep the windows open. For doing the videos, I can't open the windows. Too much road noise. But when I'm just driving down the road, we at least get some air movement with the windows open. Still doesn't replace it. And I often wonder how I survived without air conditioning in cars. I know the first few cars I owned, like my Volkswagen didn't have air conditioning, and my 1970 Camaro technically had air conditioning, although I don't know if it ever worked. And then I know my Volvo didn't have air conditioning, and I know my Plymouth Colt, which is the bottom of the line, brand new baseline model, didn't even come with a radio when I bought it, didn't have air conditioning. And my Suzuki didn't have air conditioning. So I probably didn't have air conditioning in a car. I know my Mini's got it, but man, when you crank the air conditioning in, it just doesn't run well. It's sluggish, especially when you start up. So I mean, again, I come from a family that doesn't deal with air conditioning. It's no big deal. But I'm probably going to have to break down and get the air conditioning fixed this year. Yeah, I'm a wimp. I'm old. I admit it. I'm not ashamed. Plus, you got to think of your health. That's what I tell myself. It's for your health. You don't want to get overheated. But luckily, I've got my Gatorade here, so I'm good to go. Did you see that? Yeah. So I'm good to go. And it's the zero Gatorade, so, zero sugar. So I'm not hurting myself there. I'm getting the electrolytes, whatever that is. Back next week, another Road Warrior. KevinMason.us, the home to all of our Road Warrior videos. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Would love for you to, at least throw a comment in the reading there, or at least a like, a thumbs up, perhaps. Just interact in some way. It makes the gods of the internet happy. Makes me happy too. Back next week, another Road Warrior. Thanks.